there. I'm gonna just, okay, perfect. All right. That Don? Oh, that is Don. He made it. He had to work
Recording
today.
in progress.
Hi, Don.
How's it going?
Nice to see you. Look at that mustache. I haven't seen you in
Yeah,
so long.
I know it's been a while, huh?
Yeah, you're growing out that mustache. It's gotten longer since the last time I saw you.
Yeah, I hadn't had one of these in up until the last year or so. Something new.
Yeah, I love that hair too. You always used to wear a hat.
Yeah, I hadn't. I still wear it, but not as much.
Your hair is great, Don. You got a lot of hair. I'm gonna be hiding that.
Thanks. I'm gonna go get a cut Friday.
Yeah. You went to go see Christopher, right? Was it Christopher that you saw?
I saw Christopher in New York, and then back in October, and then Paul. He's in the VIP membership. I went and we went and hung out a couple Saturdays ago.
That's amazing. I love Paul. He's actually linked up with some other guys too in the membership. How
Yeah,
was that? What
yeah.
did you guys do?
We just ate lunch and kind of caught up. So it's weird, Apollonia. Ironic. I don't know what the right word is. So we found each other through this program, and he works at a school that's in my department's territory that we go to. So it, I mean, who the hell would have known? But I don't know. We laugh about it, so
Oh,
it's kind of neat.
that's super cool. So you look great, Don. You look like your energy has shifted. You look happier.
Uh, I'm not going to tell you what I really feel like I look like, but so I'll tell you since you brought it up. But yesterday I took a walk and I don't post selfies on this, but um, there was another fireman that's been helping me out, and I sent it to him because he asked just accountability, and I told him I looked like hammered dog shit. But
Touch it. Well, I haven't heard that saying, but
I
okay.
don't know. I don't know. I have I've been trying to I put on a bunch of weight and I've been trying to take it off, and I can tell, but it's a part of the process. So we're working on
Yeah,
it.
we're the worst critics, but to me, you look great.
I appreciate it.
Have you been
I'll
doing
take it.
any of the speed dating or anything like that? Because I know it's been a while since the last time we talked.
Yeah, no. I have not. I haven't felt like I've been in the right headspace to do any of that, just with
No
all this
problem.
divorce going on.
Hmm.
Um, and just I'm still trying to work on myself with not that I would vomit everything out, but I think you know how I am sometimes, just where I feel like I got to explain too much, and I understand that it would, hell, it would scare me too. It would, so I did. Um, I don't remember when this was, but I did go on a date.
Okay.
Um, and I had met her last April. She was a realtor that was helping to get my mom's place rented out. And we had talked, and she had kind of flirted with me, and I say that. I mean, if it seems like that this was before I'd done any of this with you, but it just seemed like there was the whole like something going on. But anyway, I ended up calling her up, and we had gone. We went out. I had talked to her, and I had set this up, and then it was on a Tuesday afternoon or evening. Sunday I checked in, and she's like, she was still looking forward to it. Well, Tuesday she had forgot about it, but however, she ended up meeting me at a restaurant, and we had talked for I don't know an hour or so. But the whole thing about why this whole divorce thing came up and why it's taken so long, and you know
Did
um,
you spin it like we talked about, like to talk about it in a positive note?
yeah. I I did, and it seemed like there were some good points during the date, but um, I do appreciate that oftentimes, and I guess the same can be said of me. But if you just let people talk, stuff just comes out because we got to talking about relationships, and she had asked how long I'd been married, and I told her it was since '05, And she was like, like most of mine don't last. It seems like she said 50 days or something like that, which I'm like, well, there's probably something to that. So,
Yeah, but then time, I mean, yeah, we can be quick to judge when we're dating, but I think it's in time, you know?
yeah, yeah. But the it 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 was a learning experience. I had asked her about going out again, but she never responded. And it's fine. It ain't a big deal.
Hmm.
There was some stuff that I learned from it. So I just
Yeah,
uh,
thanks.
yeah.
Good to hear from you. It's good to see you. When you're ready, I want you to let me know, or maybe if you need a little push, but I really want you to go on your speed dating so we can start putting everything we practice into play.
Yeah.
Look great, to
I,
be honest, and I think that shouldn't stop you. So, let's go into today. So today we're going to talk about really, and I want to really kind of go over just the surface of the what we talk about when it comes to attraction, feminine, masculine energy, and just open up that to some questions as well. So let me just pull up what I want to go over today. Yeah. Course materials. I want to go into your course too. Make sure everybody, okay. Yes. All right, so I would like to start with this picture first. Let me share my screen. And can you guys see that particular picture? Yeah, okay, wonderful. Do you see anything else or you just see the picture, right? Picture, okay, perfect. I just want to make sure just because I don't want to confuse you guys because I have a couple things up on my screen I'm going over. All right, so let me see.
Hey, Apollonia. I mean, you can see your desktop, and in the background, it looks like some of the stuff from the coaching, but there. I mean, it it's not distracting. It's like
Can you
the
see like what I'm typing at the moment?
no, I don't see that.
Okay, so it's as long as it's not distracting because I had a little bit of issues with when I was sharing a screen with my team today. So I just wanted to make sure. They
Yeah,
said that it was like flickering, glitching. Hi,
yeah,
Vincent.
no, no.
Wow.
Hi, how's it going?
Glad to see you. Happy to see you.
Same.
All right, so we're just going to go over the basics of everything. So the reason why I like to start with this first is because this is probably the best picture, graph, chart, whatever we want to call it, that I found online in regards to masculine and feminine energy. Okay. And so a lot of times, the reason why I want to just go over the briefs of it is because a lot of times I think in our day and age, we're really not, or even before, we really didn't really talk about masculine and feminine energy and where these energies kind of come into and how relationships can thrive in polarity, right? And so when we talk about polarity, I want you guys to remember that I think that when we look up the polarity definition online, for example, if I was to Google polarity in relationship, let's see, polarity in relationship. Let's see what it says. In any successful relationship that has an intimate connection and sexual attraction, there is polarity. What does this mean exactly? Polarity relationships is a spark that occurs between two opposite energies, masculine and feminine. Gender does not affect whether you're masculine or feminine energy. Okay. So I think that's a really good, I guess, quick definition of polarity. But I also want to emphasize on this. Polarity can't exist without the underlying key passions for one another. Okay, polarity means that I'm thriving and I'm attracted to my partner. And polarity means both partners feel the need to develop um, each other and develop the traits or the opposites energies for one another when that time comes, okay? And it'll make sense as well when I continue showing you the energies. So, for example, when we talk about a masculine role, for example, masculine role can be the decision makers, the go-getters, the hunters, quote unquote, the ones that contribute, the ones that are doing. The feminine energy can be connection, fulfillment, nurturing, emotional, right? This is what we think of. And I like this saying, I'm reading it right here. It says, um, uh, um, David, it's a quote that David Detta says. He says, never tell a man with a masculine sexual essence that he is wrong, and never tell a woman with a feminine sexual essence that she is ugly. Okay. So I think this is so good because the reason why I love this quote is because feminine, as we look at it, is we drive on beauty, we drive on looks as a feminine, as a woman, right? And a man in his masculine, he wants to be, not that he wants to be right all the time, but he wants to be respected most of the time in a relationship. And so where men and women go wrong in relationship and where they starts to have tendencies of um separating, when they start to have what's the word I'm looking for, a lot of like tension in the relationship, is because the polarity has been broken. Okay, so for example, I was just thinking about it today because typically when I have my group coaching calls and I know I'm getting a topic, I look and analyze my day-to-day in my life. And I ask myself as a woman, what makes me trust my husband, the man that I'm with, right? What makes me, so I knew today was this call. And it was interesting because I got home from the chiropractor, and the chiropractor is like 30, 45 minutes away from us. And I just take me and my baby because it's a really good chiropractor, so it's worth it to us. So we went and we go to the chiropractor, and then I come back and it's like 5:30. I have a salad that I'm going to eat, and then by 6 o'clock, I want to be at my computer, right? Last week we had a meeting to go over my schedule for work. So he knows his times that he has to be there, and I know my times I have to be there for him. And my mom comes in and helps us as well, right? And we coordinate. So as soon as he gets home, he's from his haircut around 5:30 too. And he eats his salad with me. And he's like, okay, babe, I have a call for 30 minutes and I'm going to be right back down at 6 o'clock. And he's the one that brought it up. And I was like, okay, great. The fact that this man is always punctual, the fact that this man remembers, I don't have to be on him like I'm his mother, basically. The fact that he's the one that is the driven one that confirms and sticks to his word. And then reminded me, oh my gosh, this is what attracts me to my husband. Like the fact that I don't have to baby him, the fact that he gets it, the fact that he's responsible. I'm the one that's like, babe, what time are we supposed to be at this thing again? And he's like, the doctor's appointment is at 6 o'clock, babe. And I'm like, oh, I thought it was 7. Like he is the one that's leading me. Okay. Not because I'm the one that's always forgetting the times. It's just because I trust him enough and he takes that role where I can just step in and not be forgetful. I don't excuse it, but just kind of be in my zone of creation, of surrendering, of stillness, of being with our baby now, of taking care of the home, whatever it has to be, right? And so where men go a little bit south in this area is because they don't become reliable anymore to the woman. And so when we don't become reliable, like stick to our words, being punctual or remembering things or doing things in the best interest for one another, right? This is where the true leadership comes in because then you're able to gain her trust. It's not that you're telling a woman what to do, but it's a powerful role that a man plays in dating in a relationship because he gets to lead and eventually he becomes a chooser as well. Okay. So that's why I wanted to start with polarity first, because polarity is something that gets broken very easily when we aren't embracing it. Okay. And so one of the things is to understand this polarity lives in everything. Okay. In your relationships and your friendships and everything. But also to understand that just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm supposed to be always in my feminine. And just because you're a man doesn't mean that you'll always have to be in your masculine, right? That's where a lot of men think like, oh, I have to be masculine. I have to play this role all the time. It's absolutely false. I always tell men, you want to at least try to stay like 70% in your masculine. and the other 30% you should be in your feminine for sure. Okay. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples of when a man can be in his feminine. A man can be more in his feminine when he is giving unconditional love, when he's being loving to his girlfriend or his wife or whatever the case may be, right? When he surrenders and he's like, you know what, it is my fault. I messed up. When he gets emotional, right? The other day I was telling Glenn a story about how our great grandmother walked in and surprised us all. And it was probably the third time on one hand that I've seen my husband cry. No, I'm not saying on one hand my husband doesn't cry, but I know when he cries, those are the moments for him. It's every man is different, doesn't matter, but for him, and I knew that was a very sensitive time for him, and he got really emotional. And that's him being in his feminine, okay? Just because he's a man doesn't mean that he isn't in his feminine. I just want to be really clear about that, okay? And then also too, when I, for example, as a woman, I can be in my masculine right now, right? Because I'm teaching, I'm giving direction, I'm being assertive, right? I'm having clarity, right? I'm doing a lot of that stuff, right? I'm focused, sometimes I'm logical, right? So I'm giving support. So I'm doing all of the qualities and a masculine drive right now. So that's what I mean is we can both kind of blend it. It's called the yin and the yang. When we both blend them together, this is where polarity exists, and this is where attraction lives in a relationship. This is where a woman get a feeling. This is where a woman gets attracted to you. This is where she knows that you're capable of someone she can be with long term. And it's interesting because as women, we're inherently in us is driven to associate when we pick a partner that we can feel safe with a partner with our offspring or no offspring. A woman can be dating, like my mother, for example, she's single. She doesn't really want to date right now because she's just so busy with her grandson that she just doesn't want anything else but her grandson, obviously. So, but for example, let's say my mom is dating and she finds a man and she's 67 years old, right? And let's say that she finds someone. She's not going to just find a man because of that. She's going to find a man that she knows that she can build a future with instinctually, right? She doesn't want any more kids, but she needs to know that a man is responsible for himself and life, right? So as a woman, we look at responsibility. We look at driven purpose men. That's what gets us attracted to them. But let's say we just stay here in the masculine energy. We're not going to be able to attract though, right? We can become the provider. We'll be able to attract probably in the first bits. But in order for a woman to feel something, men have to tap into their feminine energy and showing the emotional side, showing the stillness side. Meaning emotional means the tenderness, the nurturing side of you, right? The nurturing side of you could be, talking about or, taking care of her, right? Giving her a massage. I'm not too sure, but also too, the other side is talking about what you've been through in life, right? Really emoting, really letting go, being vulnerable and open to the point where it's a vulnerability that you're just at ease about, obviously, but also too, you're really feel strongly and you're really confident about what you're speaking about you. Okay. And this is for you, Dawn, too, because you mentioned it and just reminded me to talk about this is we don't want to ramble on and give excuses about our life because you're like, I have a tendency to ramble on. Okay. I think you're doing a lot better, by the way, Dawn, too, but we're not trying to ramble on and give every piece of information, obviously, but we're also trying to connect with someone. And that's what you were able to do on your date, Dawn. That's why you guys talked about so much, right? And so I think it's really important that when we understand the energies of all of these, we're able to blend them. This is where attraction lives. But then if we look at the bottom right, right, and the bottom left, okay, what is the biggest void of attraction is the bottom left, wounded feminine, which is neediness, codependency, overly sensitive, overly emotional, withholding, manipulation, weakness, powerless, and a victim. Okay. If we have any of those qualities in the face of a woman, majority of the time, 99% of the time, she will get turned off by you instinctually, for sure. And the reason why is because a woman is really, really attracted to a person and to a man that is beyond this, that we can lean on, that we can find support in, right? Because if you want a woman to be in her feminine and be in the stillness and be in the nurturing, then she has to have someone that is going to lead her in that household, right? And so she wants to follow you because she trusts you. A woman won't follow if she doesn't trust. So how would she trust you if we were codependent on her, if we were needy for her, if we were overly sensitive? She'd be walking in her eggshells. If we were overly sensitive, she'd become more in her masculine, right? Because then she has to be more assertive with you, or she has to give you more direction, or she has to be more responsible for you, right? So then she's stepping into the masculine. And so if we look at the wounded masculine here, it's just dominance, aggression, control, competitiveness. I think unhealthy competitiveness should be there, but unsupported, avoidance, abuse, confrontational, unstable criticism. So I think like that wounded part is something where that's where the manipulator lives, right? That's something I really talk about a lot because those are also traits that are just not, everybody knows that they're just not something that they should allow in a relationship or they shouldn't be, right? But where we go wrong in attraction, I think in just in general for men and they see it better is they step more into the wounded feminine on the bottom left. And this is why women get appalled from it because one, I think too, if a man dated a woman that was like this too, you would probably get a little bit not turned on by this, right? So it's about finding the balance in this. And so if you guys have any questions first about this before I move on, before I do anything further, do you have any questions about just in general what you're seeing here? No? Okay. So I think the biggest thing honestly for me is the biggest thing for me is I love support. Like he's able to, like the biggest one for me is support and direction, stability, focused and also logical. Let's just say that you're 100% logical all the time when you're dating a woman. She's probably going to be like, I can't connect with this guy. That's why I say like 70% in your masculine, a little bit in your feminine, at least 20 to 30% here and there in your feminine. This is where feminine comes in. No, like I always talk about that magic carpet ride. That is what this is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just get some water really quickly because I just got tea and I didn't bring myself water and I have an itchy throat from my allergies. I'll be right back. Okay.
And Glenn, y'all been doing okay?
Yeah, I can't complain. Had a little bit of fatigue a couple days ago, but today was good. I played pickleball and I played kind of like as well as I could ever play, so that was kind of
Yeah,
fun. And uh,
that's cool.
and a lot of times after I play, I'm really tired, but I'm not wasn't that tired today. So
Yeah,
good day for me.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've heard about the pickleball being. I don't know any. I've only heard about it. I don't know much about it.
It's a little bit like tennis but it's on a smaller court and you almost always play doubles. So there's a lot of camaraderie with your teammates and it's just a fun game.
Yeah. What part of the country you live in?
Colorado,
Oh, okay.
and it's
You're
really
kind of used
popular
to.
here. It's really
Yeah,
popular here.
I want to. I want to eventually get it back up that way. Years ago, I went to stayed around Colorado Springs. Um,
Beautiful place. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it really was. So, but there's tons more to do up there. So I got a Jeep now, and they you can go ride around all over the state and those things. So doing the
Ooh,
back roads,
nice.
and I
Yeah.
want to I want to do that.
Yeah, there's just endless number of cool places to explore here.
Yeah,
And our weather's one of the best kept secrets. And we had a really cold spell last weekend where we had 3 days of, like below zero temperatures, but that only happens like maybe once or twice a year. We have lots of sunny, fairly warm days here, and when it snows here, but the snow melts really fast,
Yeah.
and
I want to get up to is it your way in Colorado? Is that the area or the town?
oh yeah, Ure, yes, that's a beautiful
Yeah,
area.
they
Yeah,
it's likened to like the Swiss Alps, but like in America. Um, so I hear. I don't know. I've been to
well,
Switzerland, a small
yeah,
portion of it, but it was if it's anything close to that, it'd be awesome.
well, Ure is a popular place. It's not at a real high elevation, but
Hmm.
Colorado has something like over 20 um, peaks that are 14,000 feet. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's a lot of places where you can get up close to the high peaks if you like that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be a little bit tricky driving up that high in the winter, um,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but
When I was in Colorado Springs, we had gone up Pikes Peak, and it was in March. We couldn't get all
yeah,
the way up because it was closed. But it was it's a little different driving in that than what it is down here in Houston. So we don't.
quite a bit. And
Yeah,
I, what's really funny about here where I live, March is our snowiest month.
is it really?
Yeah, because it's sort of like the air is warmer and holds more moisture, and so we get more snow in March than we do in like January and February. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Huh.
Okay, guys, thank you. Sorry about that. All right, gentlemen. So, all right, let's go into so when you get to this part of your program, also too, I have you go through the feminine, natural feminine, and the natural masculine, and I have you rate them from 1 to 5. One being the lowest and 5 being the highest of where you fall. Just for you to do an understanding of how you basically you're showing up in your world of feminine and masculine. All right, so with that said, I want to kind of go over to um, what we can do in order to um, really embrace, I think, a positive outcome in a relationship with a woman. Okay, so for example, let's say that since we're talking about feminine masculine energies, let's say that you're on a date with a woman. I've had this come up before. You're on a date with a woman and you think that she's really in her masculine. Have you ever you guys experienced going on a date with a woman and you felt like she was like really in her, you felt like she was really in her masculine? Yeah. What did you notice if she was really in her masculine? Like, what did you notice about her?
I noticed that she was very logical, you know,
Mm,
explaining like her daily routine or something in her life that's really important to her, and kind of just being technical, explaining how she goes about her day, and not really not flirting at all. So I've been on a couple dates like that where you know the lady's very analytical and rational. So
mhm. How did you feel like when you were on that date when that was going on?
well, I felt like I should do something to um, get her more in her feminine. Not that I was thinking in those exact words,
Yeah.
but I had a sense I needed to like get her out of that mindset, but wasn't sure how to do it, go about doing it.
Good. I love that. Thanks for speaking up because that's where I hope we were going. So yeah, so the reason why a lot you'll find yourself feeling like a woman is really in her masculine is kind of like you got to break down the shell or the wall, or you really she's blocking connecting with you in some way or another, right? She's holding back kind of. I think everybody's going to hold back on a first date, obviously, and because especially as a woman, because we're kind of like already on edge because we don't know you, and it's kind of like scary too. Some women to go out with a man that they don't know, so they want to meet in a public place and so on. And how half the time when a woman goes out, her friend knows where she's going to be. She turns her location on. I mean, it's a whirlwind for women. So I think too, a lot of women too in these day and ages, no matter what age they are, they're more in their masculine because they're more protected and guarded. And a woman has to be guarded initially, right? Because remember, like society blames women if they're too easy. Society tells women that they got to make a man work for it, things like this. And so I think it's really important to really remember too that typically a woman's going to show up more in her masculine energy in the beginning of the date, and that's okay. Okay. It's completely okay. But I think also where men kind of go or get success in dating when they start dating is bringing in the playfulness and getting her to surrender outside of the masculine, right? Bringing in the playfulness, the bantering, the joking, um uh making fun of her a little bit, lightheartedly, right? Like for example, she says, oh, the last time I had a lychee martini, like I don't I was dancing on top of that bar over there with my sister or something like this, right? And then the bartender comes and you're like, oh, well, she definitely does not need a lychee martini, or get her a lychee martini, whatever the case may be, right? You're lightening there, you're breaking that barrier, you're breaking that wall. So what you're doing is you're not only paying attention to what you're seeing, I mean hearing, but you're also showing her that you're not scared to kind of make fun of her and have some fun. And so I think the key in every date you go on, gentlemen, is always to have fun. Because the more that you have fun, I think the more you're going to see a woman, if she's available to it, she will drop more into her feminine with you. Okay, because here's where the polarity exists. It's the yin and the yang. Typically, if you approach, and playfulness is feminine energy. So typically, if you approach the masculine energy with the masculine energy, okay, it'll vibe for a little bit, but something needs to break. You see what I mean? So what can I do to be opposite of this? Okay, so I got to bring in my feminine, right? Energy. And so that's a dance of polarity that they call it. It's like when you're doing a dance. Okay. So now you've done the light playfulness and now she's surrendered a little bit and she's being cute with you. Now she's more in her feminine, right? And so I think that it's really to be expected that two people that go on a date for the first time are always going to be a little bit more guarded, more in their masculine, more logical, right? But also that's why flirting is so important. That's why I talk about that magic carpet ride again. That's why flirting is so important. That's why emotional connection is so important. That's why conversations, communication, bantering is so important. This is why joking is so important. Having conversations that guys light you up and things like that, right? So I think that's really the key when you look at breaking those walls down. Now, there is times where women will just be in that. Like I remember when I was dating back in the days, I remember I was so in my masculine, it was crazy. I would talk about how successful I was in my career on my dates. And I was wondering why these guys weren't giving me a call back. Because it was all like, oh, I'm an independent woman. I can do this all by myself type of attitude that I was having, right? And this happens still to this day and age. And I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that men would find that attractive. That was me. Like, I really thought a man would find that attractive. That's why I did that. Oh, she can carry her own. She's smart. Makes money. She's a good, I don't have to support her all the time. Like, I thought that that would be the place I play. And the reason why I thought that was because I didn't discover how much my feminine world can offer me. I literally put on my head, I'm a VP of a bank at 30 something years old, and that was my identity back then. I used that as my identity because I felt like that was like such a big accomplishment for me, right? For someone that never graduated from college like I wanted to in my major, right? And then finally I get this job with all these people that have graduated from college and been successful. And now I'm in top of the tier and outbeating all of these people, and I'm younger than half these people, right? I'm like, was my identity. And so that's why that was my identity for so long. So I tell you this because a lot of women that are really independent or successful, they have this mindset. And I think that if a guy was on a date with me that liked me at the time, and I was in that moment, I would have really appreciated if he would have just been like, listen, I love that you're successful. I love that you got a lot going for you, but really, like, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know the playful side of you, where he directed me there. I want to get to know the playful side of you. I want to joke with you. I want to have fun with you. Whatever the case, I don't know, in that moment, right? Where he was able to lead me there. And if I still couldn't get there, then great. Probably not the best fit for him. But sometimes women just need that extra push for you guys to lead us there. Now, and if you were, and this is where some men will be like, gosh, why do we have to do it all? No, actually, you don't. But if you want to be a natural leader in a relationship to get a woman to really trust you, respect you, be like, wow, he makes me feel a certain way. Wow, he like really pays attention to me. Like that's what it takes, right? Any questions about anything I'm saying yet? Nothing? Okay. So I want to kind of talk about also too a little bit about like um what was it? When we have a relationship with what we call shame, obviously, but also like shame and guilt. I think shame and guilt are a big driver of what doesn't give us confidence. Okay. So, I'm a big person that will tell every man, and you guys have seen it in the first video, like, I'm a big person on like Xing out pornography from self-growth, especially in the men's world, paying attention of what you're looking at on social media, focusing on who you're surrounding yourself with, guy wise, like Donna's changing, revamping, and has the guys at the fire station, has the guys in here, more leaning into your personal development, things like this. And if you need like any pointers or anything like that, we always say to reach out to us. But shame and guilt live a lot in our confidence, and that's going to carry through in how we go through our relationships. Many times when we carry shame or guilt, we withdraw, we feel angry, we feel unhealthy. So what we do is we then project it onto others, or we project it onto ourselves, and we'll make excuses, but we'll never feel ready to either venture out, do the things that we really have and want to do, or be able to date a woman XYZ. Okay. So, with that said, I just wanted to touch on these things today. So, I just want to open up the door to some of these things and just kind of get the first understanding of what I wouldn't say the first understanding, but really like the definition of feminine and masculine energy first before we go into like how this can play a role in relationships, and that comes through conversations with you guys as well. So I'm going to open it up, and if you guys want me to coach you on anything, want to tell me about anything that you've witnessed, I'm here for it. Hear my baby in the background. um So tell me if you guys want to take this a different way too, because we have a lot of people on the call. We can do some coaching, we can do some self-discovery. You can tell me about a specific situation that you've been in, or you can tell me about something about the program that you kind of want to share with me or have questions about.
So, for me, there's a couple things, but one of them I really don't want to get into because I'm at work. But which is like, the porn. Um, the other thing is, and I don't know, I probably ought to wait too. Um, is that I don't want to get too wound up. Um, just having regrets for what I'm learning. And if that would have changed anything, you
Yeah,
know,
I totally, but I want you to write this down on a piece of paper and read it every day. You are where you're supposed to be in your present moment. Like Don, you're where you're supposed to be in the present moment. Okay. You have and I've told you this all the time, you have a big, big notion about going to your past with the what ifs. But the program wasn't meant for you back in the past. It was meant for you now. So you can have all these what ifs of what if I took this program years ago, my life would have been different, but that's not going to serve us. We have to trust in that. Because it's what you're doing is for you now. This was made for you now. Everybody comes and goes in your life for a reason, timeline, whatever you want to say, that's same. But I'm a big believer in just staying in the present moment because we have to accept what has happened from us before. Because if we accept it and we know that it's working for us. So when we do that, if when it's hard to stay in the present moment, it's because we haven't accepted something from our past. Right? And so have you accepted like what you've gone through? And do you feel like you really accepted what you've gone through and just said it's okay?
Probably not. I mean, probably not. I mean, I don't feel like that. And I know that, this is, um, I know I'm still going to be processing this whole divorce thing, for a while, but because I've just now kind of gotten to a point to where it's like almost officially like, the judge is going to sign off on it over.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, what's the story that you give yourself in regards to the divorce? Like, what is it what is the storyline that's giving you that gets you kind of regretting it or in the past?
yeah,
Looking,
hang on for a sec. I'm not going anywhere, but it's about to get loud.
yeah.
So I don't know. This is part of the problem with me getting on these calls
No, it's
when I'm
okay.
working. Um, they're going to be talking for about another 2 minutes, Apollonia. So
I'll come
um,
back to you if you want me to.
yeah, that may be better.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. So I know, Glenn, I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit because I know you wanted to really go over a little bit of the feminine and masculine energy and kind of things like this. Did you have any questions in general about what we went over? And did you want me to go over a little bit, anything else that kind of questions, what you might have in regards to that?
Is that to me?
Yeah, Glenn.
Um, um, yeah, I guess. Well, I guess the one big question is how to actually balance, how to do a great job of balancing that when I'm on a date. But I mean, I think that's something that you probably learn by being aware of it and just practicing.
Yeah, I think that, it's going to come off naturally, especially, I think this is why I show you the graph. When you see that graph, it's very logical, we should say, and it's very to the direct and point driven. And I don't want you to think of like, am I coming off masculine on the date, right? That's where you're going to be like, okay, am I coming off masculine? I don't have my flirt. Now you're in your head. You're not really in the present moment, right? So that's why I have that activity for you. So when you get to that graph, what you're going to do is you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 through 5 on there, both feminine and masculine. And anything that is a 1 or 2 is a place that you want to focus on a little bit more on your dates. Okay, because everything else is natural for you. You see what I mean? So that's why that practice is pretty good. So when we look at this, let me just share my screen one more time here. So like when we look at this graph, let me just pick one with me really quickly. One in the masculine, one in the feminine that you would say maybe is a 1, 2, or maybe even a 3. One on each.
Uh, just pick one of each to rate, you mean?
Yeah, like if when you look at it, is there anything that you would rate 1, 2, or 3 on masculine and then on feminine, and tell me one on each of them if there is.
Well, let's see.
Take your time.
S- I guess focus and support, I would have to give myself at least a three.
How
Uh,
about on the feminine side?
the feminine side, let's see. I guess nurturing and kindness. I think I could give myself a three.
So you
Maybe
don't feel like you're too kind on a date and just in general?
I don't feel like I'm too kind.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're kind?
Um, Not anymore. Not since I learned the pitfalls of being the nice guy. You know, in the past, I probably was too kind on some
I
dates.
see what you mean, the balance of this. I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see, things I might be weak on the masculine side. Sometimes assertive
Okay.
is a bit of a challenge.
Okay, good one.
Waffle between a two and a three on that.
Mhm.
Um, Direction's a big one, like, for example, what should I do on the next, what should we, I figure, well, it's my job to plan the dates as the man, but like, oh, what should my next date be? I don't want to just keep going to restaurants every date. That gets boring, and so how to like, or how often to contact her, just if the man's supposed to more or less orchestrate things, and that's kind of a challenge, to figure out how to do that in a way that serves her and me.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay,
Uh,
understood. These are all pretty good. Now, I want to refer back to the kindness and then we're going to go to assertive. But with kindness, I think what's really important is to understand that I'm not saying that with kindness we have to be like 100% kind all the time on the date and just nurture and give her compliments. But I feel like you're pretty kind in general. You just know that you're not going to be on the date and sitting there over complimenting the woman, right?
right.
Yeah, because I don't get a sense of arrogancy from you, I would say. I do see that you have kind, so I'm not too sure if that would be a three. But let's go back to assertive. So I think that when assertiveness can be a very attractive quality to a man, but assertive doesn't have to be always like assertive doesn't always have to be assertive in the face of a woman, like meaning like I'm assertive to her. It can be for yourself, like saying the truth or being like, oh, I have to, I don't know, an example would be like, I would love to go out and get another drink with you, but I really have to be up at 5 in the morning for a workout, right? Something like this, right? So
Mhm.
it's like it gives you that balance too, with yourself. Assertive is honestly lives in assertiveness, right? Assertiveness does come from direction as well. So I think that when we look at assertiveness on a date, like when she asks you a question most of the time, sometimes we can be wishy-washy and kind of not know, but the majority of the time when you're in conversations, do you feel like the conversations you own them, or are you like, well, you go back and forth, I don't know, this is that. You're trying to be in agreement a little bit, sometimes too. Tell me about the conversation. How do you see yourself assertive in conversations, like assertive communication?
I think I think conversation is one of my strong points.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm pretty confident when I'm on a date, and we're having a dialogue,
Yeah, I see that.
and she's asking me questions, and I try to ask her questions that are in the flow, like you mentioned last week. So I think I can. I think again, my lack of assertiveness is how to plan and direct the next date or the next phase, and
Yeah, I see that you would be good there. I can get the sense for it too. And also too, assertiveness is communicating and expressing like what feelings you have or opinions you might have or thoughts that you might have or views that you might have or needs of other things, right? So when you have that in conversation, I feel like you do have that in a conversation, right? So give yourself some credit in that. So let's say, for example, now we're talking about assertiveness. You're doing this on a date greatly. You're doing it on a great. And now you're in flow and she's talking to you and you're like, oh, wow. Yeah, I did go to Machu Picchu. That was amazing. I remember hiking there. She's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I went hiking too. You're like, oh, you like to hike? You're like, yeah, I'd love to hike. Oh, I live in Colorado and we hike all the time during the summer months. And we go in, this type of area for hiking. She's like, I've been there. Now you're talking, but you're in flow. You see how
Yeah.
you're also dancing. You see what I mean? You're dancing in both of them. So that's where true connection happens. There's a feeling that comes about now, right? So now not only are you showing a woman a sense of confidence in your communication, but now you're also adapting to the flow and you're just showing her that not only you're confident with the communication, but it's not a date, it's in a flow where she can feel that it's ease, right? And it's just going and it's not forced between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, my last date was like that,
Yeah.
but I've had dates that I've really struggled with that.
Yep. Because those aren't going to be the matches probably sometimes for you, unless you're really bad, or not, I shouldn't say really bad, or if you're known to not probably communicate really well and you're practicing. There's some men that do come in here and they're like, I'm just not really good at communicating on dates really well. And so I need to practice, and so some of them have a past of it, but if you really don't have that past, that means that it's just not connecting. Because there's women out there that do, I mean, they go on dates, but they have that hard exterior shell that's really hard to break, or they're just not wanting to be there in the moment, they're just not attractive.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Would you say that happens more, or you usually have like good conversations and a good time with women that you date?
Well, I think it happened a lot when I first started dating a couple years ago, and I think it just happens a lot less as, I just, practice makes perfect, and
Hmm.
just kind of being aware, self-aware, like you talked about self-aware, kind of being aware of of situations where I could have done a much better job of communicating. And I mean, I used to get on a date, going back a couple of years on a date, I would really get into my head sometimes, and that doesn't happen that much anymore. So, really, a lot of it's experience, and some of it's just compatibility with the person
Yeah.
that you go out with.
Mhm. That's huge compatibility. Yeah. I think that's a really good thing you said because Dawn, I think that's really important. You're hearing it from Glenn, is that in the beginning it's rough, you're just getting back out there, you're trying to find yourself in your conversations again. That you gotta kiss, what did they say? You gotta kiss a couple of frogs and ferment a couple sheep or something like this, they say. In order to kind of get to know yourself and then be more comfortable. So that's why Dawn, I told you like when we're ready to get back out there, and I really feel like after the divorce, and I know you're going through some time, you need time. But that's why I'm really big on the speed datings because I just really want you to throw yourself in the woods and really have a conversation with these women. I think that will help too.
And one of the hardest things for me, going back a couple of years, was not being attached to the outcome.
Mhm.
Like I was, it was really important to me to impress this woman and for her wanting to go out with me again. And now I kind of got to the point where I realized I don't know what's going to happen on this date. Anything can happen. It could go well. It could go south. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go in there, do my best, try to have fun, try to make her laugh and have fun, and not worry about, am I going to do everything right or not?
Mhm.
So that's been That might be the biggest thing I've learned. Just not be so attached to how things turned out.
Mhm. Yeah, that's huge. And that's exactly what Don's working on too. You guys, I think that Don, you can have a lot to, Glenn can offer you a lot from when you get back out there and kind of be your motivational partner because he's been through the same things almost, not the same story, but the same, general things. And I think that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So,
Yeah. Great. Okay, good. So one of the things too, I think that's really important in finding balance in our dates is like you said, Glenn, is not only just, looking at us as a whole, but of oh, am I the masculine, the feminine, but really it's just about having fun. And I think that, and I say this all the time, but if you are so much in that masculine energy, you cannot be having fun. Right. So that's why I have you guys do the 1 through 5 and really rating yourself 1 through 5 and seeing like where are you more in your what are you doing? Like allowing. Like, are you really allowing? Allowing means like not getting attached to the outcome. That's the natural feminine, not being attached to an outcome and just letting it be, right? Just letting something be. And so that comes out in your mindset, but your mindset also projects your energy. And so I think that why this masculine and feminine world is such a powerful dynamic, it also shows you how your energies can play a part in the dynamics of your dates and your day-to-day life when you're going out there, just in general, intentionally, or dating a woman. Okay. So I want to kind of go over if you guys have any questions about the program. Glenn, where are you right now in the program? Are you might be on week 2, right?
I've completed the homework for week 2. What I've been doing, yeah, this is week 3, so I'll do the week 3 homework before the next meeting. So that's how I've been doing it.
Perfect. So we're gonna go over the boundaries and everything next time. Okay, perfect. All right. So um last one, because I'm gonna probably just kind of wrap up this call a little bit because we don't have so many people on. I wanted you guys to get your night back as well. But I want to kind of go over any questions about the program just in general or open it up to anything that's happened this week that you want my advice on or anything like this. And if not, that's okay.
so I was
Mhm.
going to ask about the river of life.
Oh, yes.
Um, detail do we get?
How detailed you said?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how much do we? So I've gone through, and I'm gonna have to watch it again. But I I know there's the homework and like the I guess the primers to kind of get how you want how I want to lay this out. But like, I mean, is it up to me like how far back I want to start this in my life, and then how
Yeah.
detailed and stuff that I want to include? Because I could be
Yeah. You
like
don't
a
have to
random
get like
McNally map.
you don't have
I
to be
mean,
too detailed, but enough to understand like the story and what you've been through. And it's not just negative things, it's also positive things too.
yeah.
And it's just for you to see your life as a whole, and give yourself some grace and this is powerful. It's a powerful exercise because it also draws you towards really connecting with someone when they get to that point of really truly getting to know you and you feel safe with that person and it gives you a general idea of connection too within yourself. It's emotional connection with yourself too. It's built that exercise is building that. Mhm.
Yeah. I'm working on that. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, great. I would love to see it when you're done.
I also, now that I'm thinking about this too, because this part of the divorce is starting to be finalized, it's, that the program that Cynthia had that I've been, that I don't know if I should work on that in addition to what I'm doing here. You
Which
know,
program is it?
It's the dating after divorce. The
Oh yeah, that's an audio. Yeah, when you're ready to date, I would do it. Because
with but well, because I had started going through the program with that, but then I got into this, so I hadn't really messed with any of that, and it just different thoughts and like I briefly mentioned, I guess regrets or whatever have come up recently, and it just I, and again I've been trying to use the tools that I've learned to try to deal with some of these thoughts and not get like so wrapped up. But I um, didn't know maybe if it would be a little more beneficial to deal with the divorce stuff with that program right now with the state that
yeah,
I'm
I
in.
think that she gives a lot of support when you're going through a divorce in that program. So I would definitely do it. And it's an audio program, so you can listen to
Yeah.
it when you're driving, so I don't think there's anything wrong with you going into that program for sure right now. It's okay.
Okay.
And then, doing it again when you're dating and things like this. Yeah, awesome done. Vincent, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in so long. It's been 3 months, 3.5 months.
Yeah, I mean, you've been out for a good reason. I've been kind of out myself as well, a lot from the meetings and whatever. Really, my work schedule picked up a lot, so I wasn't able to break away as easily for some of those ones that were happening in the mid-afternoon, and then other things that were just transpiring with myself at the time. I was missing out on some of the other ones, here in the evenings too. But yeah, I'm pretty much in a good spot. Everything's kind of come together in a rather decent way over the last 4 months. Matter of fact, just the other day, set a 4 month period of someone I've been seeing, and we been getting along fabulous, great, taking a lot of the information that's come from everything here, kind of, found my way through all the other stuff that I was dealing with in the previous relationship that kind of steered me in a way wrong inwardly. And yeah, kind of got over that hurdle and moved on with it. But yeah, everything's been great for the last 4 months. Work is fine, family's fine, girlfriend's fine, everything's pretty solid.
That's so great to hear. Question: Are you still back in the friendship with that other lady that we first talked about, or no?
No, there was some weird things that were going on there. It was like she started seeing somebody else, and I guess she felt some sort of weird way about it, and wasn't in contact with me. I wasn't in contact with her by text message or phone or anything else like that. But through social media, she decided that she was just going to outright block me, which creates on Facebook an instantaneous unfriending. But then she unblocked me, which I could then see her profile and find her or whatever. But that friendship connection has not reestablished there. And well, for whatever reason she had for doing that, that's fine. I mean, quite honestly, I remember the material that you were covering here this evening with the masculine and feminine energies and traits on that diagram I had seen before earlier in the program. And to this day, just knowing what I know about her through mutual friends and what she has been doing with herself over the last couple of months, she has this very masculine way about her in her day-to-day life, but it seems like she's still doing it from the position of being in a lot of those wounded feminine traits, which is where I found her, and she didn't ever try to crawl out of that. So for whatever she's got going on with this new guy she's with, I wish her the best. I hope she finds whatever she's looking for there, and maybe she has her own healing journey and what have you. But yeah, as far as any kind of other contact or reestablishing and maintaining that friendship, that just has not rekindled or reconnected in any way.
Yeah, and a lot of times women and men too are in their wounded feminine because they haven't healed parts of them too, so that's a good way to put it as well. But I'm so happy to hear that you're doing great, and also love to see you on the calls. So when you can pop in, always.
Yeah, I'm
Today was a lower, obviously, I usually get more at 6:30, but I think it's just with me coming back and stuff, and then also too, we're opening up more slots for guys to come in as well. So yeah, so nice to hear from you and see you. So thanks for joining today.
yeah, awesome, and welcome back. I'm glad to hear that everything's going well. The baby's healthy, you're healthy, everything's come together for you in your life as well.
Thank you, Vincent. I appreciate that. Yeah, health is the number one thing right now. Health is life. Mhm.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. So I would love for you to just email me, message me on Mighty Networks. I'm on there every day. If you have any questions about the program, if you're having a challenge or a breakthrough moment or want to talk to me about anything, I'm always accessible to you guys. Yeah, just want to wish you a wonderful night. If you don't have anything else, does anybody have anything else before we sign off? Okay. I'll give you some of your night back tonight. Tomorrow, Cynthia will be doing mock date exercises. Glenn, she's be doing some mock dates with you for sure. If you can make it, that would be great. If not, it's okay, I understand. Just because you're a little bit newer to the program, we want to start getting you into the mock date exercises before we bring another woman in. And then for you, Kevin, I would say we'll start doing mock dates with you when you can be somewhere, because I know you're hard at work when you can be still. And we'll get that scheduled with Cynthia. You just reach out to Cynthia when you know those days, you'll be able to do so, okay? We want to get you into a couple mock dates, at least 3 or 4 of them, before we bring another woman that's not Cynthia in, okay?
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Of course, of course. All right, gentlemen.
I
Much luck
apologize
to
if I
you.
didn't have a lot of questions, but today I'm in my thinking mode right now.
No worries. You're in that cold weather, Colorado cold weather.
Yeah.
All right.
care.
Much love to everyone today. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining, and I will see you soon.
Okay,
All right.
good night.
Bye,
Take it easy.
gentlemen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.